You have probably heard this sentence before that oil hasn't performed in last 10 years. But when you look at fuel prices, refinery profits and geopolitical headlines, it doesn't seem like something has underperformed. So which one is true? Did oil actually fail or we misunderstand it? And here is the most important thing. If you are an Indian investor, it matters not just as trivia fact, but how should you think about your money, growth, investments, and portfolio. Today, we are going to dive deep, not with opinions, but with clues, data, logic, and economic insights. So let's go. Namaste, friends. I'm Rohini, and you're watching the knowledge series of Fincash.com. When we say oil underperformed, we don't mean that it collapsed to zero or vanished. It means something else. Let's look at the data. Between 2011 to 2013, Brent crude oil was above $100 a barrel. Oil was considered as a safe commodity. Between 2015 to 2025, prices mostly ranged between $60 to $90. This showed no clear uptrend. Oil goes through cycles, not trends. So when we say oil underperformed, we mean it didn't give consistent returns. It didn't compound like stocks. It didn't follow a rising long-term path. It oscillated. That means it kept moving up and down without a clear long-term trend. But well, that's the nature of oil. So to understand better, let's dig in. How did oil perform in last decade? Most people think that oil moves like stock. When good demand comes, prices go up and investors make money. But oil doesn't work like that. Oil is one of the few assets where high prices creates its own downfall. Let me explain to you that. When oil prices rise sharply, something automatically kicks in across the world. That is, US shale producers restart drilling, OPEC increases production, Russia pumps more. Old expensive oil fields suddenly become viable again. In simple words, high prices invite more supply. This is the key difference between oil and assets like gold or equities. Gold supply cannot be ramped up quickly. Apple cannot suddenly double iPhone production overnight, but oil responds fast. So every time when oil tries to trend up, a new supply floods in the market and this pushes price down again. In the last decade, between 2011 to 13, oil prices stayed above $100 per barrel. What happened next? The US shale revolution exploded. American went from importer to one of the world's largest producers. Global supply overshot demand. By 2016, oil crashed below $30. Then again in 2018, oil tried to rise. US shale came back, prices cooled. In 21 to 22, oil spiked due to COVID recovery and the Russian-Ukraine war. Once again, supply increased, demand normalized, prices cooled. This is the pattern. That is why over a long period, oil prices looks flat, frustrating, and disappointing. But out of all, oil still remains very essential. Let's understand one thing. Oil is too important to stay expensive for a long time. Governments intervene, producers respond, supply adjusts. And that's exactly why oil, despite war, crisis, and geopolitical shock, fails to trend upward over decades. People think that electric vehicles will kill oil. Well, that may be a misunderstanding. No doubt that EVs are growing, but global oil demand did not fall. In fact, even in 2025, oil demand is around 103 to 105 million barrels per day. Yes, electric vehicles change transport fuel demand slowly, but oil is used for much more than fuel. It is used for plastic, chemical, packaging, aviation fuel, fertilizers, shipping, industrial inputs. EVs reduce petrol demand over decades, but they do not eliminate oil demand. So oil's role didn't vanish. It just stopped being driven by one growth engine. Now the use of oil is spread diversely in multiple areas. While fuel demand is slowing in most developed countries, India seems to moving in opposite side. India's fuel demand is still rising, and that's what makes India fundamentally different. Let's see why this is happening. Because there are more cars on the road, as in because more factories to run, more airports, more travel, infrastructure growth and logistic expansion. So even with EV push, ethanol blending, bio-CNG expansion, India's oil demand is expected to grow for decades. OPEC and Energy Analyst projects that India will be fastest growing oil market globally in next 10 to 15 years, rising from 5.5 million barrels per day in 2024 to nearly 6 million barrels per day in 2026. This is outpacing China's growth rate and marking India as a key driver for global oil demand. Well, that's huge. But India still imports its 85 to 90% of oil. So we are vulnerable to price shock, currency swing, and geopolitical disruption. And that's why energy security matters. In 2025, India introduced new gas and oil laws. The goal is to attract investments, give stable contracts, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, boost domestic production. This is important because if you reduce uncertainty, there will be more investment inflows, there will be production rises, import dependency can fall, geopolitical vulnerability weakens. So it shows that India is not turning away from oil, it is just playing its game smart. So after everything we discussed, the real question is, if oil didn't give great returns, why does it keep coming back to headlines, policy decision and global conversation? The answer is simple, that oil doesn't drive portfolio anymore. It drives the system. So here we are going to discuss few points that will give you an overview of how the future of oil would look. In markets, when something underperforms for many years, it usually doesn't disappear, it adjusts. We have seen this before. Real estate after price bubbles burst, certain stock sectors after too much hype, commodities after long boom. So after excess comes correction, and after correction comes stability. Oil fits this pattern. Today, oil doesn't behave like a growth asset. Instead, it behaves like a pressure point. When oil prices move, inflation reacts, currency reacts, interest rate reacts, government budget reacts. That's why oil never disappears from importance. Even when it underperforms as an investment, it doesn't make people rich. It makes economies unstable when ignored. Earlier, oil was about expansion, demand booms, and price rallies. Today, oil is about managing inflation, managing trade deficit, energy security, and managing geopolitical risk. That's a very different role. And that is why oil is managed very actively. It is not left to free runway prices. For investors, it means like do not chase price. Think in terms of expansion and exposure. So the takeaway is oil did not fail. It just changed its role. And investors who understand this, they won't bet on price. They position around its impact. Now a question many viewers may ask, can I invest in oil in India? The simple answer is no, not really. But there are many ways which you can invest in oil. But before investing, ask yourself the right questions. Does your portfolio truly understand the oil's position in the economy? For most Indian investors, oil works as a sector exposure, not price bet. So coming back to the question, how you can really invest. Indian retail investors cannot directly buy crude oil. The only way to trade is via crude oil futures on MCX, which are highly leveraged, volatile, and most suitable for professional traders. For most investors, this is too risky, but there are practical, realistic ways to gain exposure to the oil sector without directly buying crude. Option number 1, you can invest in Indian energy companies that benefit from oil and refining operation. Some examples include ONCG, IOC, BPCL, Reliance Industries, Naira Energy. These companies gain from refining margins, production volume, international operation, and energy diversification. Investing in them gives you sector exposure without touching crude futures directly. Option number 2 are mutual funds or ETFs focusing on energy, utilities, or natural resources. These provide diversified exposure. So instead of betting on one company, your investment is spread across multiple players in the sector. Option 3 for investors with access to international market, ETFs that track Brent crude price or global energy companies allow indirect exposure to oil price trends and global demand. But you have to keep in mind that these are more volatile, so they are suitable only for investors who understand commodity cycle. Oil is still essential, still demanded, and still a part of global growth. Real wisdom isn't in saying that oil is dead. Real wisdom is to understand that oil has changed its role from growth engine to strategic lifeline. And that's the perspective Indian investors should carry, because clarity always beats confusion. If you have liked this video, please do comment and share it among your friends, and subscribe to our channel for weekly financial awareness. It is your money, invest it smartly.